Have you ever felt that something is wrong with the gospel being preached today? As if the sound of the cross has been replaced by a soft echo of easy promises, and the kingdom has become just a distant idea. The gospel of the kingdom doesn't begin with comfort. It begins with a call, a trumpet sounding within you, awakening something that's been asleep. It's the voice of the king saying, "The kingdom is near." You are not standing before a religion, but before a spiritual government, an invisible yet real kingdom, a dominion that doesn't come with outward appearance, but takes shape within you. When Jesus walked among men, he didn't come to offer a belief system. He came to proclaim the kingdom, and every word he spoke was an invasion, heaven invading earth. The gospel of the kingdom isn't about you going up. It's about the kingdom coming down. It's the king taking the throne where the self once ruled. The difference between the gospel of men and the gospel of the kingdom is simple. One seeks to follow rules. The other seeks to follow the king. And the king isn't asking for your opinion. He's asking for your heart. Because in the kingdom, there's no room for two thrones. While the world shouts freedom, the kingdom whispers surrender. And it's in that surrender that true freedom is born. Do you see it? The gospel of the kingdom isn't popular. It doesn't promise quick success. It calls you to die, and then to live. That's the sound few want to hear, but everyone needs. The sound of the kingdom that is coming, and has already begun inside those who choose to obey. Jesus didn't come to build temples of stone, but living temples. And that's where the kingdom begins, in the transformed heart, the renewed mind, the surrendered soul. The gospel of the kingdom is a complete inversion. In the world, the greatest is the one who commands. In the kingdom, the greatest is the one who serves. In the world, the strong dominate. In the kingdom, the weak are strengthened. When the kingdom enters, priorities shift. What once mattered, recognition, power, security, turns to dust. And what once seemed small, faith, purity, humility, becomes eternal. You don't understand the kingdom through logic, but through revelation. It doesn't explain itself. It reveals itself to those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. The kingdom isn't geography. It's a spiritual reality. It's so near you can sense it, and so deep it can change everything. Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is among you." And in saying this, he wasn't speaking of a place. He was speaking of a presence. When you pray, when you forgive, when you choose to love those who hurt you, the kingdom is there. Invisible but active, small as a seed, yet destined to grow. That's why the gospel of the kingdom is dangerous. Because it doesn't depend on temples, microphones, or crowds. It grows silently, like leaven in the dough. The world can't stop it. Religion can't contain it. Because the kingdom isn't the work of men. It's the work of the Spirit. And everyone who submits to the King becomes part of something greater than time, greater than borders, greater than empires. Jesus spoke of a future kingdom, but he began manifesting it in the present. And that's the tension we live in, the already and the not yet. When the gospel of the kingdom is preached in all nations, then the end will come, not an end of destruction, but of fulfillment. Every time someone chooses to obey the voice of the King, the kingdom advances. Every act of true love is a spark of the new creation. The gospel of the kingdom isn't a message, it's a summons. A call to those who don't just want to be saved, but to reign with Christ. In the end, the King will return, not as a servant, but as Lord of Lords, and every knee will bow, not before a man, but before a throne. Human kingdoms will fall, crowns will be cast to the ground, and the righteous King will take what has always been his. And you, who have heard this message, are not exempt. You have been called to be an ambassador of this kingdom, to live as a citizen of heaven while walking on earth. The gospel of the kingdom is radical because it doesn't ask for part of you. It asks for all of you. It doesn't want occasional visits. It wants permanent residence. When the King dwells in you, life changes. The ego loses the throne and love takes command. And in the end, when the world is consumed by glory, only one truth will remain. The kingdom has won. The gospel of the kingdom is not a theory. It's a calling. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, because every word can ignite the fire of the kingdom in another heart. And remember, the King is not distant. He is already at the door, calling you to live the kingdom now.